Welcome in. We're the Real Selection Committee. I'm Mike. This is Greg. And we're here talking about college football. Two big things going on right now. We had the NFL draft, which is kind of wrapping up right here. Any big key highlights to this draft you had?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what the Cleveland Browns do with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, huh?
Right.
What bonehead decided that would be good?
Yeah.
Get one guy that spent 18 years in college and the other guy who has talent but didn't beat anyone of worth.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I can tell you that Cleveland Browns, they can never get that draft right. You draft two quarterbacks, two running backs, and you need other positions. It's just crazy what they do every year.
Well, the only thing I can say there is they must be hoping that all those guys work out well, so maybe they have a trading chip down the line. But
yeah, right.
I don't see any worth in it. You want to get players in different positions to fill in on your roster.
Yeah.
So let's load up with 4 draft picks and 2 positions.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's talk about this Shedeur Sanders, who was projected as a top 5. I mean, was this a thing of arrogance and Deion Sanders promotion hype train?
Is it that, or is Shedeur not that good? Let me rephrase that. Is he not as good as the Sanders has made him be?
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders, as I've said several times, he's very talented.
Right.
Okay. But what has he really accomplished? Mm-hmm. He had the Heisman Trophy winner with him, had his dad coaching. Everything was put in place for him to succeed. Now, they changed Colorado around, but, what'd they go, 13-12?
Yeah.
Retire the jersey good? Yeah. I think he went a little low for what I figured he would, but I think he's 3rd round pick. I think Will Howard, Quinn Ewers, and I can't think of
Kyle McCord.
Kyle McCord are all better than him.
Yes.
They just aren't as flashy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally think that he kind of got some bad advice, and,
yes,
and I think pro day he should have participated in, and then you had the combine he should have participated in instead of walking around thinking he deserved something, and just show. If you got a good arm, all he needed to do was show it off, and I think he would have been up there with Cam as a possible first round or an early round pick. I agree with that. Wow. Second thing I want to talk about is how crazy, first time ever we had a quarterback sit out and demand more money, and this nil has opened up this whole new can of worms whirlwind coming on here. How do you feel about this?
These kids realize the nil money ain't set you up.
No.
It's supposed to give you, it's supposed to pay you for the fact that you're out there playing a position for that school, making that school money. It's good money. Hey, go work at Walmart and see how much you're going to make, pal.
Right.
And it's just dumb.
Yeah.
You were getting paid $2.4 million. Most of us in this world will never see that kind of money.
Yeah.
And you were getting paid for it to play college football. No, I think I'm worth more. Hey, pal, you just lost yourself $500,000 for being dumb. And the people that told you to do it, you ought to be suing them for that $500,000 because they're dumber than you.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy that Nico Iamaleava had to decide to sit out. I mean, in a college playoff game, I mean, that looks bad. Tennessee cut ties with him. Yeah. He struggled. He could not, SEC put in where in the transfer portal, you cannot be picked up by another SEC school. So that limited him as far as getting on a good team. And a lot of other teams that were out there turned their backs to him. He ended up signing and going out to UCLA. Where, well, guess what? California is a tax state where he's going to be taxed on that earnings, that money that he's going to make. So he took at least a $1.5 million hit on this decision made here, which was not a very smart one. And he's a young kid. You hate seeing that happen.
I was a little aggressive. I don't dislike this kid, and I hope he bounces back and plays well. The kid's talented, but he got it in his head, whether it was out of his own mind or the other people feeding him, that he was the best thing that's ever come along. And hey, he just got the door slammed in his face. So, like I said, it is a valuable lesson for all young people. Yes, you need to know your value so people don't run over top of you.
Right.
But
Right.
prove your value too.
Right.
So prove you're worth what you're saying you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's move ahead. So we're still continuing on picking teams that we think have something to say about their conference plus playoff team. So we're diving into these teams, waiting on the college football to get here. It's creeping up. We're closing in on 100 days of getting to the start of the college football season that we're excited about. The team that we looked around and we chose thought had something to say coming into this year. The Fighting Illini, Illinois. This team finished 9-3 last year. They had a lot to say. They're going to be a very good team, I think, coming into this year. They got a lot of returning starters, and this team has very good potential here of competing in this Big Ten and getting a spot into the playoffs. Yeah. So they're. Are they for real? Or,
I think they're for real.
You think they're for real? I do too.
I think they're for real. And without giving much away, they graded higher than any other team in the Big Ten. That's right. Better than Ohio State. Better than Penn State. Better than Oregon.
Yeah.
Graded higher than all of them in my look. Now, that's experience level mostly with some of the stats and decorations involved in it too. But hey, That's a good team. There's a lot of players with decorated.
Right. So, let's talk about, I want to go over the schedules here, and then we'll go through starters and recruiting, and we'll go over everything. So let's go into last year. This team kind of bounced around, made it into the top 25. I think they got as high as, 19, I think. So they were in there. They were right at the cusp of making it. They started the season out pretty good. Let's look at their first loss. They lost to Penn State, 21-7. They did beat Nebraska, and the things were looking good, Then they got in. They played Michigan. They beat Michigan, which was another good win. Yep. So right here, we're thinking that Illinois is taking that step, as being as one of the top 10 team, a top team in the Big Ten, I should say. Then they went down, and this game changed the trajectory of Illinois here. They played the number 1 Oregon, and they lost. They got kind of railroaded.
Well, that game was close to a kickoff.
Yeah,
it went bad right away.
Yeah, that score was 38-9, and then they lost the following week to Minnesota. They ripped off the last 4 games with wins here, which was nice to see. They beat the Rutgers, and Northwestern. Here's the biggest one that really changed their eyes and opened it up is in the bowl game. They beat South Carolina, which we thought South Carolina was a deserving playoff team last year. Yeah. And they beat them 21-17. Yeah. So we're looking, and we're kind of excited about Northern Illinois, thinking that they're going to be good coming into this year. Their schedule is favorable for them. They do have some key matchups in this 2025 season as we look at it. They got Indiana in there. Indiana should be another team that's still good coming into this year. Yeah. We got USC, who's going to be, I think, a little more improved. I don't think they're going to have such a bad season. Yeah. They've got Ohio State. Mm-hmm. They travel, or actually Ohio State comes to there. Which
that should be tricky depending on where it is in the season.
That is an important game. That's mid-season here. So their schedule is shaping up for them. Right now, projections or odds makers have them as a 8 to 10 win team here. So, they could be in the mix.
That's in line with what I would think. One thing about schedules. Remember last year we thought Ohio State had the easiest schedule of all time. Mm-hmm. And it turned out they had 3 teams on their schedule that were undefeated late into the year. So it's nice to look it over and say, yeah, I mean, some of them teams that we think are great might be on the other side. You just never know with the schedule. So I think Illinois can be a contender in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're upwards closer schedule-wise as an 8-win team, which is definitely going to have something to say with being in the Big Ten,
Yeah.
So let's move forward. This team, let's talk about their starters. I'm looking at, they look like they have 18 to 22 returning starters on this team. So this team is going to be pretty good. And I know you did your homework.
Yeah.
You went in and you put a ranking or a scale on all these starters on this team here. So I'm going to let you go over your starter schedule.
Okay, what we got at quarterback is Luke Altmaier, who is a Big Ten honorable mention from 2023, a 2-year starter. I got him as a 6.5. I mean, he's a really good quarterback, probably the most under-known quarterback of the good ones in the country, I would say. Running back, I had as a 5, but knowledge that just came to me, he transferred out. So
yeah, so it's looking like that Josh McCray transferred to Georgia. And this spring transfer portal.
So I don't know what they have in the back because I left that paperwork at home. But, I'm going to say that there's still going to be at least a 4 there. But, I had him as a returning starter, a 5. Wide receivers are kind of a mixed bag. They do have one guy who's a returning starter. And then they got a guy who was close to a returning starter. And then the third wide receiver is a guy who's going to be making his first turn that really don't have a lot of experience. So we'll see how that works out for him there. Now, the offensive line is a huge strength. So rather than just give you the numbers or the grades, I'm just going to tell you they've got a left tackle's a 3-year starter, Big Ten third team, 2024. He was in the Mountain West on New Mexico in 2023. He was the first team Mountain West in 2023. And he was an honorable mention in the Mountain West in 2022. So that's a pretty good start right there, right? Left guard, 2-year starter. 2-year Big Ten honorable mention in 24 and 23. Center, 2-year starter. Guess what? 2 years straight of Big Ten honorable mention. Wow. That's better than some teams' entire team. Right guard. He only started 6 games in 2024, so he has some experience. He's the little brother of everybody.
Right.
Right tackle, 1-year starter, Big Ten honorable mention. I'm going to tell you right now that might be the best offensive line in the country.
They definitely have
collectively. Yeah. Collectively, when the worst guy in your team played half the games last year, you're sitting pretty good. Because just to start in the FBS is tough, right?
Right.
To be a year-long starter. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. The tight end, he's a guy that had played some games but wasn't a yearly starter, so we'll see how that works out there too. I got their offense. I had it as a 60.5. Give or take a couple of points now because you got the one running back left. But, hey, one guy ain't going to ruin an entire team.
Right.
Defensively. Defensive line, you got one starter back, which is their nose tackle. Linebackers, really strong. You've got the middle linebackers, a 2-year starter, Big Ten honorable mention in 2024 and 23. Right outside linebackers, a 3-year starter, Big Ten third team in 2024 and honorable mention in 2022. So that's pretty darn good. The weak side linebacker is a returning starter. The right outside linebacker is going to be making his first turn as a yearly starter, but has starting experience. So that's a strength as well. The defensive backfield, pretty good. We've got the left cornerback's 3-year starter, 1 with Illinois, 2 with Ohio U. So take that how you want to. Strong safety. 1-year starter, Big Ten honorable mention in 2024. Free safety, 2-year starter. Right cornerback was a guy who started some games, but it was not a yearly starter. And then the nickelback is a 2-year starter, Big Ten first team in 2024 and honorable mention in 23. Loaded team, guys. don't worry about that helmet with the big eye on it. This is a good football team.
Very good football team, and we think good things are to come of this team here.
Yes.
So let's talk about the recruiting class. You got some work done on the recruiting class.
I do. Unfortunately, this is the one area where Illinois is still a little bit weak.
Right. Yeah,
They came in as the 45th ranked overall recruiting class, so the recruiting hasn't caught up to the success they've had on the field. They were the 12th ranked recruiting class in the Big Ten. They got 2 4-star recruits, and let's see, from what I see here, one of them's a linebacker, and I don't have any information on the second guy. So but hey, not a lot of help coming out of the freshmen. But sometimes 3-star recruits can get in there and get after it too, huh?
So like you said, this recruiting class is like ranked 36. Somewhere in this recruiting class is somewhere ranked 36. 22 total commits. Some of their commits, their biggest, highest rated ones are Grant Bierman, a linebacker, and Jershon Newton, who's an athlete. Rank. He's not a position player. He's one of their higher ranked guys. So like you said, this class is a little weak, but what their recruiting class is going to help some of those starters out. So they're going to mesh in here. I think Illinois, like you said, is going to match up well in this Big Ten. I think they're going to do very well.
Well, they have good depth, too. I mean, they have a couple wide receivers on the depth chart, which are quality depth, not just guys that are on the roster. And they have a tight end as a backup. Their backup quarterback was solid when he had to play. And you have a running back, which I got listed here, which is probably the guy that's going to fill in for the dude that left. So you're probably going from a 5 to a 4 there. So you're still a 59.5 overall rank on offense. So still pretty good.
Yeah.
And defense has a good inside linebacker. You got the 1 4-star linebacker, which we had mentioned. 2 outside linebackers are quality reserves. 2 cornerbacks quality reserves, and 1 safety quality reserves. This is a strong team, folks. I mean, let's just say it as it is.
Yep. So question is, where are you putting them in this Big Ten conference? How do you see them coming into this conference here?
As I said, and they graded better than any team in the Big Ten. Okay? Mm-hmm. Guess who number 2 was?
Ohio State.
No. Rutgers. By experience. So I heard you laughing in the background back there, right? But at any rate, this team graded
that
higher
makes a
than
lot of
everybody.
sense. That makes
yeah. Hey, I'm going to say that Illinois is a dark horse national contender. Mm-hmm. They are a serious threat to the Big Ten title. Mm-hmm. And Ohio State's going to be fine. Oregon's going to be good. Penn State's going to be good. They all graded well. This team graded better on the experience line.
I mean, those other teams, they lost a lot of players to the NFL, especially Ohio State lost half of the team to the to the NFL. So, But based on, like you said, the returning starters, building off of what they did last year as a 9-3 record, looking at their schedule, their toughest schedule or toughest team on their schedule is Ohio State. They got them at home, which is definitely going to help them out a lot. Right. In Indiana, Indiana, that's a toss-up game there.
Indiana's going to be a good team as well. And here's the thing with your Ohio State point. Middle of the year, Ohio State's got a lot of guys coming in, a little bit of unprovenness. Early in the year could favor Illinois. Mm. That could be a dangerous game for the Buckeyes. So Illinois, if they get by Ohio State, look out.
Yeah. Definitely look out because
same thought as I had.
Yeah, because they definitely could rip off a 10-win season here, and they would definitely make it in. I think they're sitting as a potential playoff team.
Yes, sir.
And I think they could have something to say about this Big Ten, winning this Big Ten conference title here. Mm-hmm. This is a pretty good team on paper here.
Yes, they are.
With their returning players and schedule, the way that's going to work out.
They stay healthy, and players keep progressing. Look out, period.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think they're going to be, like
Illinois
you said,
fans should be very excited.
yeah, nationally, I think they're going to have something to say. You know, I think that it's going to be fun season for if you're a Illini fan here.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Well, that's going to wrap it up here. Please like and subscribe.
Let's go.
That's really simple. You know, you're on your phones, just click the button for us.
If you like college football, why not listen and see what you can learn from other people? I'd like to learn from others as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what we kind of designed this for,
It's
because
fun.
interaction.
Yeah.
College football. You
Yeah.
love it, we love it. This is the interaction we want. We love diving in, talking about teams. We definitely would like to talk to you guys about teams, you know, who you think's going to be good, because, you know, this is what college football is about, the fans of the sport.
Yep.
So, hey, that being said, catch us next week.
Peace.